This is a special edition of Protect Matthews Reports, the tragic tree massacre on Monroe. Find out why it happened, who benefits, who loses, factual, in-depth, unbiased.
Hello, my name is Mark Tufano, and thank you for being here with us for this special edition of Protect Matthews Reports. This empty lot that you're seeing behind me, many acres, totally void of trees and vegetation, was not supposed to be this way. There was supposed to be a 30-foot buffer of trees between the sidewalk and the development. And through that buffer of trees was a meandering sidewalk, a lovely place to walk to and from wherever your destination may be. There was a group of citizens here that negotiated with the developer over a period of almost 2 years to produce that agreement. Through an accident or through the inability of a subcontractor to properly read the specifications, the trees were taken down and we're left with this barren spot. But there's more to this story. There's a lot more to this story. It was not supposed to end up like this, void of all trees and vegetation. There was a considerable amount of time spent in productive negotiations between concerned citizens and the owner of the developer and members of the Matthews town staff and elected officials to protect as many of the trees on the site as possible to provide a buffer between the road and the development. But something went wrong. When the trees came down, there was an uproar. News outlets from around the area covered the incident, including WCNC, WFAE, WSOC, the Charlotte Observer, and the Matthews Beacon. Emails were sent to the mayor and the commissioners protesting the action, and angry residents vented their frustration on social media. A spokesperson for the residents and a representative for the developer spoke at a board commissioners meeting on March 11th, 2019, with Mayor Pro Tem John Higdon presiding. You may hear the recordings of the talks on the links provided. But after all of this, the truth of the matter is that the buffer was gone. Within a matter of a few days, hundreds of trees were reduced to rubble, and the rubble was removed, leaving nothing but a barren wasteland. The negotiations were held between representatives for the concerned citizens, who were in Kathleen Hall, Elizabeth McCullum, Brad Faber, Irene Sahoza, Florence Stanley, and many other concerned citizens. The spokesperson for the developer, the Taft Mills Group, was Dustin Mills. And for the town of Matthews were Mayor Pro Tem John Higdon, Commissioner Jeff Miller, Commissioner Chris Milton, and Commissioner John Urban. Particular praise was given to Mayor Pro Tem John Higdon, who, in the words of one of the representatives for the concerned citizens, stated that John Higdon was the only council member genuinely interested in the issues we raised. So what were the results of the negotiations? There was to be a 60-foot saved tree buffer between the road and the start of the development. Within this buffer was to be a meandering sidewalk. This was documented in the petition and with the term shall, which makes it a binding document. In addition to the tree save buffer and sidewalk, the Taft Mills Group gave $150,000 to the Sardis Forest Swim Club. In addition, the Taft Mills Group gave $50,000 to the Sardis Forest Patio Homes for improvements, as well as a donation of $10,000 to the Sardis Forest Homeowners Association. A fine of $50,000 was levied against the developer. However, the town of Matthews did not receive this fine. All $50,000 of the fine was given to the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system in abeyance to laws governing fines such as these. Also, the developer committed to spending $100,000 to restore the buffer that was lost. The total amount committed by the Taft Mills Group to the community as part of the initial negotiations and as compensation for the tree destruction was $360,000. This may seem like a large sum of money,
And to the average citizen in the town of Matthews, it is indeed a sizable sum. But let's take a closer look at what this money represents. The following figures were taken from the Mecklenburg County Building Permits records and represent the estimated construction costs provided by the developer for each of the buildings. It's important to stress that these are construction costs, not resale amounts. The value of the property and the buildings would be significantly higher depending on the final selling price. Also, it is equally important to note that these numbers do not include the cost of the landscaping of the property, the pool, and other accessory buildings. Building number 1, $3.8 million. Building 2, $3.8 million. Building 3, $4.8 million. Building 4, $1.9 million. Building 5, $3 million. Building 6, $3 million. Building 7, $0.445 million. Building 8, $0.445 million. Building 9, $0.445 million. And Building 10, $0.445 million. Including the pavilion, pool building, and pool cabana and trash enclosures, the total is $22.5 million. Again, I stress this is just construction cost of buildings and not the total cost of the development. So the $360,000 that seems like a large sum of money represents a mere 1.6% of the construction costs. Accounting for all of the construction costs not covered in the building permit documents, this percentage would decrease dramatically. In conclusion, let's look at who was harmed or damaged in this tragic series of events. Of course, it goes without saying that the citizens of Matthews, and in particular the residents of the adjoining communities, were harmed in this struggle. Although there were donations and payments by the Taft Mills Group as part of the initial agreement, the citizens lost everything for which they had fought and negotiated. The Taft Mills Group was temporarily harmed in this saga. There was a momentary impact on their reputation and a slight monetary impact, but in the end, they will finish building their development and reap the financial gains. There is one party that until now has not been mentioned in this report, and that is Matthews Town Commissioner John Urban. Commissioner John Urban is the principal architect on this project. There is no way of knowing what Commissioner John Urban's fee structure is with the developer, but if it were based on a percentage of the construction cost, it would be significant. According to published guidelines and what an architect should charge if the fee was a percentage of costs, the percentage could range from 1% to 15%. From the lowest to the highest, this would represent a fee ranging from $225,000 to $3.3 million.
Thank you for watching the video, for reading the documentation, and listening to the commentary. I want you to understand what Protect Matthews Reports is all about. It's about bringing you information. It's about bringing you details, documentation, to understand how it got from the beginning to where it is today. Please come back, watch another episode. There's more to come. Thank you.